Shenanigans.
You mean shenanigans?
Shenanigans. Evil shenanigans.
Shenanigans,
I
right?
talked about how many times we've even been at shows and gone up to the sound guy and been like, will you just fucking move over? Give me 12 minutes, I'll fix this. Like, let's just stop.
Yeah.
Let's just stop.
When you have the ear for it. Because I don't know shit about audio. And that's, like I said, having a guy that knows something about it.
Something about anything.
But half the time, man, like if you're doing a show at all, no matter what, however big, small it is, you have to have somebody on stage, somebody at the soundboard. You know, you can't. And most of the guys are at the soundboard listening. Oh, that sounds good. And I'm like, not the fuck
You need
over
to-
here. It
you
doesn't.
Are these guys that have the earphones in, or do they need to hear what the crowd hears?
Well, they need to hear what the stage hears, and they need to hear what the crowd. They can hear what the crowd hears already,
So
but
they
they
just-
don't hear what the stage hears.
So if you got something a little too low and something a little too high, like gains are up and down, that's fun stuff. I never messed with it before.
My favorite was Yellow Wolf. When I went and watched Yellow Wolf, he's an awesome live performer.
Catfish
And
Bay.
this motherfucker, his microphone cuts out, and he's a prima donna on stage no matter what. So his microphone cuts out, and you just see him chuck the microphone at the sound guy, and the sound guy drops down. It was awesome. He gets over the sound stacks, the stereo stacks over in Wow Hall in Eugene because they started cutting out.
He was
so
in
he
Eugene?
kicked him over.
Oh, that's
and
funny.
He's all like, "I'm fucking leaving," and just walks off stage. And I'm just like, yeah.
Did he bring his own
fucking
stuff, or was he
rock and
using the Wow Halls?
roll. Oh, this is own stuff. He's on tour. So
I
it's
was
his
gonna
own
say
shit.
it's
Yeah.
the Wow Hall.
Oh, dude, it's the Wow Hall. I know, it's-
Still don't kick their shit over. You know, that's
It's
good.
his shit, so
Oh,
he
if
can
it's
kick his own shit.
Yeah, I guess so. But
Yeah, they have a pretty bad sound system.
Well,
there.
nonetheless, though, even if he was kicking over their stuff, they still don't pay him till after he's done with the show at the end of the night. So this is the contract. They'll
deduct
be
it.
like, you broke our microphone, you owe us $400.
Right.
And these motherfuckers, they don't care. You know what I mean? They're making $8,000 every time a bus stops. You know what
Yeah.
I mean? So they're like, yeah, fucked up $4,000 in sound equipment. I'll make it back tomorrow.
They
Who
barely
cares?
get anything from the door. The people do, but they pay him to come. So
Yeah.
that's the nice part about the Wall Hall, though. It is
I never
you're
get
this
paid to
close
come.
to
I
the
don't know
people.
what the hell's going on.
It's fucking awesome.
That's where he opened up for Both Thugs and Harmony too.
Who else? Who did I see there? I got to see a reggae band, and then it was like some off '90s band that we watched there one time.
Fucking 98 Degrees, wasn't it, Shannon?
No,
He
I
just-
wish.
Yeah, that'd have been so much cooler.
I want it that way.
Backstreet Boys,
Is that
that's fine,
Backstreet
that's
Boys?
fine.
I don't know. I don't remember.
Come on, bro. You had to have seen the Brooklyn Nine-Nine episode. Oh,
Yeah.
you got that far, yeah.
No, I haven't got that far, but Matt showed it to me at work.
That's one of my favorites.
When he gets everybody to sing.
He's
Damn
like,
it, it's back.
He's like, I got goosebumps. I got goosebumps.
Oh,
Like,
I totally forgot we were doing this.
Number 5 killed my brother. I totally forgot that's what we were doing. You ever watch Brooklyn Nine-Nine?
Are you kidding?
I don't do a whole bunch of TV. There's a few shows I watch.
If you have Hulu, it's worth every second.
I do have Hulu.
And it's free.
Do the Hulu, do the Netflix.
It's on Hulu and it's on there. And I promise, if you aren't laughing, I don't know, a good 80% of the first 3 or 4 episodes, don't turn it on anymore. But I
Yeah,
promise you
it's
won't be
Andy
able to breathe.
Samberg.
Okay.
You know that is right.
Oh, yeah.
And the support Terry Crews is on it.
Okay, he's good. He's funny.
That
But
that
Black
alone,
Took a Dancer was hilarious.
that alone should be enough to at least watch an episode. The rest of them, like all the
I'll give it a
characters,
shot. Definitely.
so funny.
Because I did the Letterkenny thing, which
Oh,
is
I love
just-
Letterkenny.
That's one of my favorites. I did the Trailer Park Boys thing in the back.
My son.
Can we just
everyone-
talk about how Letterkenny took off out of nowhere and like all of a sudden
was-
everybody's all, how are you now? The
guy's a
not
genius.
so bad, you?
You're nuts, man. Yeah.
No, he's a genius. He wanted to be an actor, and he was in a few movies like Beth. I Love You, Beth Cooper. He was one of the cronies for the military guy that
yeah.
was Beth Cooper's boyfriend.
Jared Kiesel, you're talking about.
Yes.
Yeah, okay.
And so he decided at one point, he's like, I don't want to go to L.A. I don't want to go there and have to, I want to just film where I'm from. And then, he's not necessarily from that area, that town that they
Right,
filmed, but he's
right.
from the area.
Okay.
And so, he just didn't want to go
Can't blame the
get
guy.
on a
He
plane,
didn't want to do the Seth Rogen.
live in fucking California for 6 months to do, he did a couple of movies where he was like the
You
star.
mean like every other
kinda
Canadian
degraded.
in the fucking
Yeah.
world?
But
Just
here's the
didn't
thing.
have to.
He's like, why can't I just make a show here? I got the internet.
Right.
So my understanding is he Craiglisted a whole bunch of actors and stuff. And then Trevor, what's his face? The Squirrely Dan.
Squirrely Dan, the comedian.
Yes. So, well, he was a real comedian, and they kind of auditioned a few people and kind of put it together, and it fucking took off. It was most of the shit was just like little snippets on the internet.
It's
Yeah,
just
that's,
YouTube snippets.
that
I
was
mean,
how
that's
the
it.
first my first experience with
Me
it
too.
was someone that he actually rolled through on Facebook, and someone's like shared it, and I was watching it, and first, what the fuck is this? But
Well, did he remind you of someone that you knew?
what's that?
Did the character Wayne, remind you of someone you knew? Because it did for me.
Okay.
And that's why I was like, this is fucking crazy. Because he was really hard, and he was really, direct, but he had a huge heart.
Very polite.
And extremely polite, and men do this and women do this type thing. But
not in a bad way.
well,
You know what I mean?
it's not that he tells people what to do, but his whole point was he's all for equality, but there's certain things that he's a traditionalist.
Right.
So he doesn't have a big deal with
And
the
that's
gay people
not
getting married and all.
necessarily offensive. That's
No.
just the way it's
But it was great because he's a strong male character that has regular views,
Right.
but he's open-minded.
But no, my first experience with it, it was, like you said, a little snippet piece of video. And
It was in the Letterkenny problems, is what I heard the first
yeah,
time.
and it's the first minute I was sitting there trying to catch it all.
Yeah.
And then I watched it a couple more times.
Yeah, because they go so quick with their little
they're chirping
snippy
back and
things.
forth,
I'm like,
We don't know Canadian slang.
Yes,
and then you learn it, and you're like, I can't
yeah, it's funnier than hell. So, I started watching it that night.
What sealed the deal for me was Squirrely Dan talking about in betwixt the sheets, the old
that
curveball.
one, that
So
one. I think that was the one.
Yeah, I
where-
finally got to that one, and I was like, oh shit, I just gotta watch this
sitting
show.
there
So
playing
they play catch, right? Yeah.
And then they drop the ball. And,
as Wayne stops, turns to Derry, and
Yeah.
they exclude him.
yeah.
He's just excluded.
He's no longer a part of the conversation,
So-
and he keeps going.
Yeah.
Here's the problem. That was my first thing anybody ever told me about the show. So I'm getting explained this direct part of the show, and they're like, "Yeah, man, they're talking about fingers in the butts and stuff
In
like
the
that."
butthole.
And I'm like, "But I have to go home and watch it." And then I'm like, "Now it says all types of weird shit about me, or make me watch a show. Just tell me there's you guys talking about fingers in the butts, and we'll go watch it." But no matter what, they told me that one little part, and I'm like, "Dude, it's gotta have some comedy.
It's something.
It's gotta
Oh, it
have
does.
something,
Because that's
you know?
real smart. That's layers of comedy, which is what the best shows have more than one layer. So there's 1, 2, 3 layers or so of comedy. And that, when they're throwing the ball, number one, when they're doing the fucking ground balls and stuff, it just reminds you of being like 7, 8 years old playing like t-ball, and so you're doing drills.
Way to get your body out there. Yeah,
Exactly.
Yeah, well, yeah.
And these are
In front of
fucking
them.
adults of 30 plus. So you know that this is
fly.
pop fly.
Yeah.
And they're just acting like children,
Yeah.
which I related to it so much that I had to see more. And then I think that's why, because they do. It reminds me of me, a couple of my friends and I hate fucking Matt things.
Fuck you, Matt.
Hey, I don't
He'll
have a
grammar
problem with
not be us.
that. Is he though?
Oh, yeah.
Oh
I don't know
yeah,
him too well. He's always nice to me.
He's super nice.
He's a cool dude. you
yeah.
know?
For who he is, he's quite the pleasant feller. But I reminded myself of being a little kid and playing with my friends and the shit talk we used to have.
The shit talk, the best part. I mean,
That's the
that's
whole
the
point.
hitting home.
In fact, I think my favorite situation in that show was the dating day, and which is
Valentine's Day one?
Yeah.
what is it called? Goldilocks or whatever.
Yeah,
He's like, this
yeah.
one's too hard, and this one's too soft, and he's
That
like,
lady.
you're losing him,
Yeah. Oh yeah, yeah.
and then he does.
Katie.
He's moving his hay, right? He's facing her. She's pissed off. Next step. Piss it off again. Next step. He's like going towards the door.
Get after it. You're losing him.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
And then, yeah, how are y'all? Good. This one's too soft.
Yeah.
Like, I love the part that,
Uh-huh.
and this one's too hard.
What was it like, season
I
2?
like the look on his face when he's doing that. He like pulls out his phone and you can tell the
Yeah.
way wheels are turning. He's
The
thinking.
feminist.
The way
Yeah.
squinty.
Yeah, he's like, yeah, this lady's gonna
You
work.
could see the thoughts processing, and it's
Well,
just so funny.
He's like crosses his arms and he's not, and then
Yeah.
he's like, I don't know what to do. I feel uncomfortable. She wins. I'm out.
He's an awkward guy.
Well, but he's the most, he's the toughest guy, and he's, based on the show, the sexiest guy also, besides
Right.
Shorzy, who is, I think, he's probably the best character in the whole show. And the one thing that Shorzy did that fucking cracked me up to where I was on the ground laughing was when he was the ref.
Oh yeah.
Hurry up and score a fucking goal already. I'm getting to bedtime silly.
Fuck off, Shorzy. Give us our timeout.
Fuck you, Riley. Tell your mom to give me a timeout. The last time I tried that, she threatened to take a header on me into an empty pool at the Quality Suites.
Fuck you, Shorzy. Leave us alone.
Fuck you, Jonesy. Tell your mom to leave me alone. She's been laying in my fucking waterbed since Labor Day.
Fuck you, Shorzy!
Fuck you all. Your lives are so sad. I get a charity tax break just for hanging out with you. Nice sweep, no sweet. Give your balls a tug.
That's just, he's talking all shit the whole time. Yeah.
But he does this little thing because I if you watch refs in hockey, they do that shit all the time because they're trying to get away from the action. And they gotta get the heck out of the way.
I did play hockey for a while as a
but
child.
just the way he was doing it, that was the
Funny
whole
as
show
hell.
off move because you skate
No,
backwards.
I was not in Canada.
Yeah, he was in Southern Canada.
Right?
Yeah, called Southern California.
You ever seen
That's true.
Tosh.0? He says, hockey had a strike the whole year and no one noticed.
I had no idea.
And it's one of the best
So
sports
world
to watch.
sport.
And it's one of the best ones to watch, I think. It's
I never watch it.
I mean, I will agree. It's better to watch than baseball or basketball.
Oh, agreed.
Yeah.
These dudes watching basketball at work, I'm like, turn it off.
Yeah.
Put on Terminator.
Anything.
Yeah,
Literally.
watching basketball drives me nuts. Watching golf drives me nuts. Playing basketball with everybody's fun. I'll
Right.
go shoot
Baseball?
all day.
Oh, man.
Baseball.
Love
Yeah,
playing baseball.
we play at Lithia every year. We do the softball team, and it's a great time. But sit there and watch it. Going to a game's different, but hockey is. Well, I played it too, so I kind of have more of an interest. But hockey's sweet, man. It's fun to watch.
I'm with
and
him. It's
a little
more
faster
fun to watch.
pace. You know, it keeps your attention a little better.
It's like watching NASCAR for the crashes because you're watching hockey for the fights. We all know it's going to happen.
Okay, but NASCAR, you watch the last 4 laps or 10 laps, and that's it. That's all
I've
you
been
need.
to NASCAR racer too. It actually pretty fun to go because I like to see the vendors and
Or just
girls
like to
running
drink.
around. And,
I mean, like.
there's that.
Yeah, I mean, you could just day drink. Nobody's judging you if you're doing a beer chug
well,
at
you're
10 in
with
the morning.
drunk
at
people.
NASCAR.
Yeah, my parents, they got really into NASCAR. They were watching it every Sunday. Then they would go to.
Who's our driver?
Back in the, I think my mom liked Rusty Wallace, Mark Martin, because he drove the Viagra car. It was classic
Hilarious.
to me.
Hilarious.
My dad did like Dale Jr. They didn't like Jeff Gordon. They liked Tony
Everybody hates Jeff
They
Gordon.
liked Tony Stewart.
I mean, I don't know if you can say everybody hates Jeff Gordon. He's kind of the most famous
No.
NASCAR driver out there. So
He is the most hated.
He's Tom Brady of NASCAR.
You got it. He's the most hated.
Because he's that fucking good, apparently.
Didn't you ever hear the?
He did win a bit.
Was he the Tide car? Was that what he was driving? Some shit.
DuPont's.
DuPont.
Yeah.
I don't remember what it was, but it was.
DuPont, I don't know.
Tim Wilson has a song called "Jeff Gordon's Gay." Funniest shit I ever heard.
Oh god.
Yeah, it was the greatest song. And he died here recently. It's too bad. He was a great songwriter, comedian.
I will say that watching Talladega Nights kind of made me want to watch NASCAR a little more. I'm like, I wonder if this is what it's actually
I
like
just
in
wish
NASCAR.
NASCAR was like Talladega Nights.
just-
It was
Right.
super fun. I'm sure to a point it is. It's probably not as animated,
No.
but there probably are those people. For
Oh,
sure.
of course.
Definitely.
There's
I don't know.
fanatics
I
of
mean,
every
there's-
sort.
But,
there's definitely some animated people
NASCAR was
in
fun to
NASCAR.
go to the races,
Uh-huh.
but I couldn't sit there and watch it. There's no way.
You mean shenanigans? Shenanigans. Evil shenanigans.
Shananigans.